Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask for in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my show, Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. I am your host, Orionna Coleman, and we are now on season 3 of Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. As usual, I have a non-wimpy Christian. If you have not tuned into this show before, you know that my definition, well, let me let you know that my definition of a non-wimpy Christian is someone who is not afraid to step out on faith and to follow God with their calling. And today I have none other than my singing sister. We call her LaNique, but I'm going to let her introduce herself professionally. How are you today, love?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm so thankful that you agreed to be on the show. It's so funny because when we were talking, you were like, thank me for the opportunity. But in my head, I'm always lucky for someone to say yes, because I'm just as humble. I tell people, no matter how many people I interview, no matter how many people get on the shows that I have, I'm always going to be elated over a yes. So thank you again for agreeing to be on the show. We have been busy, girl.
We have.
I want to give everybody a little backstory of me and my sister LaNique. So LaNique, I call her my sister because we're scene sisters, scene 65 of Mad Drama out of Jackson State University. I think I was a sophomore when I met you because I was a junior. I transferred to Jackson State. I can't remember, like, what classification was you, LaNique?
I was a junior.
Okay, so we were both juniors, both ambitious. 65, we got a love that just sticks. Even if we don't talk to each other, when we get back with each other, we hold each other down like we did in the beginning. So I'm so thankful that we have that bond. And I'm just proud of you, LaNique. Even from Jackson State, you've always been ambitious. But I just want you to kind of update me as well as the audience on what you've been doing and what you do today.
Okay. Well, I first want to say thank you. I've never done anything like this, so I must admit that I am kind of nervous. Let me just, bottle that all in. I'm LaNique Ervin, everyone. As Orionna said, they call me Nique. I'm from Itabena, Mississippi. Came to Jackson State in 2013. And I met Orionna doing our little process or whatever, orientation to Mad Drama. She was a writer, and I was intern, the actor, the actress, whatever. And Orionna always was so passionate. I mean, that's just my word to describe her. She was just passionate about everything, about everything. And I know we used to mess with her all the time, like, Orionna, it's gonna be okay. But that was just a passion. And I just want to say one thing about Orionna. She is a go-getter. I remember I was everybody that was in Mad Drama was kind of like either journalism or speech communication, but I was communicative disorders. But I remember Orionna getting together trying to make the School of Journalism its own separate school, and that was just so inspiring to me to have a student, push the issue, and now it's in motion. And we have Orionna and some more people to thank for that. But I just remember her being the face of that, and I'm proud of you, Orionna, for everything that you accomplished. You're married with your 2 beautiful children, and you're just going after everything that you said you would. And it's so amazing to see that.
Thank you, LaNique. You're so humble because I introduced you to introduce yourself. Then you started talking.
I know.
God, let's give each other the flowers. So some of the things that I've been noticing for you is you've just been fighting through trials. And on Facebook, you've been so transparent about what you've been going through. I haven't read every single status, but when I do get to one of your statuses and they're long, I try to make sure I stop and I read. And I know your most recent accomplishment is getting your master's degree and in a really important field. And it's so ironic that this is May 2021 and it's the month of mental health awareness. So this is the perfect time to not only have you as a guest, but to talk about these things. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you. It's so funny because half of the stuff that I've done, I forget. Like, he was the face of journalists. I was like, I was like, she was talking like I was. But then I remember, I was like, oh yeah, I remember it was a struggle. But I thank God for what he's done, but I'm always focused on the next chapter. One thing I want to learn how to do is celebrate what he's given me, because I'm so used to accomplishing something and going to the next goal that I don't sit back and be like, okay, well, you done it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so
Mm-hmm.
grateful that you even brought that memory up, because I was not thinking about that at all. I was not thinking about that. I was like, what is she talking about? What did I do? But we had some great times, Nique. And like I said, I've caught up with you. I've been catching up with you on Facebook, but it's so imperative to have this conversation, that face-to-face thing. And I just feel like your story needs to be on this platform for you to share it. So first and foremost, I told myself, since this is season 3 of Don't Be a Wimpy Christian, I'm gonna start off with the first question of you telling me what a non-wimpy Christian is to you. So if you had a word or a sentence to describe a non-wimpy Christian, what would you say?
Okay. A non-wimpy Christian, that just would be someone who's, like you said, not afraid. They're not a wimp. They're not weak. No matter what's thrown at them or what's coming. I mean, you get knocked down 20 times, you're still strong. Yeah. No matter if everybody in your circle leaves you, you're still gonna be strong in God and strong in your beliefs. Nothing can stop you from believing and from having faith in that you can do whatever you want to do. That's what I think a non-wimpy Christian is. I mean, sometimes you have people who they lose their job, so now God is just this big bad person. You you still have to have that faith that this is the same God who's there when I'm up, and this is the same God who's going to be there when I'm down. Yes. So that would be my definition.
I felt so much passion as you said what that definition is for you. So let's go into that. Where did that passion come from, Nique? To have, because you've been there. I can tell by the way you describe what it was that you've been there. So talk to me about it.
It's just. It's crazy. It's just life.
Yeah.
It's just life. It's everything that I've been through, everything that I've seen. I've seen so many people that I grew up with who were Christian, who turned to other things and turned to other beliefs partially because of some things that happened to them. And I'm like, no matter, it's this song by Tremaine Hawkins. I never lost my faith. I never lost my praise, no matter what has happened to me. And it's been so much. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just been so much. Yeah, it's everything that God has brought me through.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, I feel like to be in a field like you're in, you have to have some type of personal connection to do what you do on an everyday basis. So let's go into that. First, I want you to let our audience know what you are, what's your title, the field you, of course, I said mental health, but the specifics and why you decided to get into that field.
Okay. I'm a crisis therapist at the moment. So I work at Region 4 Mental Health Center, and I'm responsible for crisis therapy. And that may mean someone who's at a mental break. That it looks like someone who's suicidal, and it looks like someone who's in psychosis, someone who's hallucinating or having delusions. I'm the first person that they see. And so that can be a short-term therapy, something like 2 months, 3 months, or that can be me getting them into inpatient therapy. What fueled me to do mental health, it's crazy because in undergrad I was communicative disorder, so that's pre-professional for speech pathology.
Yeah.
In 2015, I had an older sister to pass. I'm the youngest of 10.
Wow. So I did not know that. I should have known that. You my whole season.
Yes, I'm the youngest of 10. So my sister, she was maybe 39 when she passed. And we were close. This was the sister who named me. This was the sister who knew me inside and out. And nothing against my other siblings, because we're close as well. But she was just my rock.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was just my rock. Like, that was my home skillet. When I was sick, when I had surgery, she was there. And seeing her decline the way she did, struck me. It really did something to me. And 2015, that was the year before I was about to graduate college.
Yeah.
And I just remember her pulling away from us, her not coming to Thanksgiving, not coming to Easter, Christmas. And I really didn't know at the time what the signs of depression, looked like. But after I look back, my sister was definitely depressed. And she was depressed to the point where she started to turn to opioids, to different kind of pain meds or muscle relaxer, whatever the controlled substance may be. And seeing her decline with 3 children, it really did something to me.
Yeah.
And ultimately her death shocked us because she was in and out of the hospital, but mainly we knew that it was for the pills. You know what I'm saying? It was just seeing her depressed kind of made me want to say, well, what could we have done to help her?
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what fueled it. And my own struggles, my own things I had growing up. I grew up very, very depressed. My mom, this is probably, if my mom hears this is the first time she'll ever hear me say that. I grew up very, very depressed, very, very self-conscious about myself. And I just wanted to know, what can I do to help someone else? What can I do to help this person who may have 4 children or may have a spouse, help them not give up? So that fueled me to study mental health counseling. And now that I'm in the field, I know that this is a field that I can help. I know that this is a field that God can use me in. Mental health is needed everywhere.
Everywhere.
So yeah, that seeing my sister is what led me into this.
Let me tell you, as you were sharing your story, I thought to myself, God can use everything for our good. Because I know that was a tough, and even as you talk, I can see the emotion still on your face. And I wouldn't be surprised if you shed a tear before we end this interview. But knowing that you went through that was such a hard time. But God, you had to go through that for God to get you where you are today. You wasn't thinking about mental health like that. Even though when you look back, you mentioned in your childhood that you went through depression, but that still wasn't like the thing that led you to mental health. It took your sister to go through it to be like, wait a minute, I want to save somebody else so they won't have to go through what I went through with my sister. I want people to know what are the signs of depression, what are the signs of anxiety, panic attacks. It's so many different things, like especially with us being African American women, our culture don't really believe in mental health. They don't believe you could be feeling a little off or you depressed. Even though this is a Christian show, I still don't want to tell people to just pray about it and let it go. Because that's not, God has equipped us with so much more. Like, yes, we pray about it, but God will give us the resources we need. And every time I think about when people say that, I think about like, okay, if you pray about something, you have faith in it. But the word also says faith without works is dead. So that means you have to put the works in it. So if you've prayed about it and you have the faith, when God reveals to you what you need to do, he might send, like, I feel like we have a lot of modern day angels just walking around here in life. Like they could be someone you've never seen before. It could be your sister. It could be anybody. But I feel like God will send you an angel to tell you what you need to do and go for it. Don't go with that cliche of someone saying, oh, you don't need to talk to a psychiatrist or you don't need to talk to
you do.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta talk to these
Yes, you do.
You gotta talk to these people. So did you face that a little bit of having that title of therapist, of people saying, nah, you don't need to do that because we don't need to see therapy or anything like that? Any backlash?
Yes, when I said I was going to do mental health counseling, okay, I come from a whole family of superintendents, principals, teachers. Almost everybody in my family is of that background. We rarely have nurses, any other disciplines. So from my mom being the superintendent, the principal, my sisters being the teachers, and all of that, that was a big deal. And it was kind of like she wanted me to do this. Oh, girl, you get an education. You're going to have your summers off, which is true.
I know.
I'm jealous of the teacher. I'm jealous of the teacher. But that's not my passion. I did teach for a year. I taught special education inclusion. It wasn't my passion. It wasn't something that I dreaded going to work. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. So I still receive backlash when I'm on a crisis call and I have this parent telling me about their daughter who is doing this and doing that. Oh, there's nothing wrong with her. She just on them drugs. She's just, this and that. It's deeper than that, and it's the real thing.
Go back when you said it's deeper than that. Start on because the video froze up when you said it's deeper than that.
Okay. It's deeper than just somebody having a breakdown. It's more than just a breakdown. We need to see what's going on. I see it every day. People are not prepared for the conversation. People are not ready to admit that they need help. That's one thing, especially in our Black men. I encounter so many men on a daily who I go out to the house, they have a gun in their hand, or they have a knife at their wrist. I see it, and they just don't know. I've lost my job and I want to kill myself. Wait, talk to me. We don't have to. You skipping some steps. In my head, that's what I'm saying. Let's figure this out. And it's so crazy because people still look at it as the crazy house or, a shrink. People still call therapy shrink. Yeah. It's something that I encounter every day. And I've just started to get respect for what I do. I should say, because before I think it's our generation, honestly. I think it's our generation that's bringing the mental health to, into play. That's putting it at the forefront. We don't mind quitting jobs. We don't mind calling off.
Girl, that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
A heartbeat. I think it's over anything.
Exactly. And that's the whole agenda I think we're pushing, My mental health comes before anything. Yeah. And it's just unfortunate that a lot of us aren't knowledgeable about it. And I really wish that I could do more than what I'm doing now. And I think and what you're doing now gives people like me an opportunity to spread awareness, and let people know that, girl, it's okay. Go talk to somebody. I'm a therapist, and guess what? I talk to somebody.
That was my next question. That was my next question. I was gonna ask you, I know that even though this is your profession, it still affects you mentally too, to deal with so many different people. So how are you invested in your self-care? And you just answered it, that you have a therapist. Is there any other things you have for self-care to make sure you're mentally sane to do your profession?
I take at least every 2 months. I take a vacation, whether it's 2 hours or 1 hour. It doesn't even have to be anywhere traveling, but I'm gonna take me some days off. And you need those days. I know back in the day, our parents rarely miss work. Oh, I'm going to my leg. I don't care. My leg broke. I'm going in. No, you need those days to just debrief. You need those moments. And as I was going through therapy, my therapist is great. She's great. She told me how you spend your first 20 minutes of your day, or what you take in the first 20 minutes of your day, sets the tone for your day. So with the generation that we're in and the time we're in, podcast, that's my go-to. Right. If I'm ever having rushing thoughts, or if I'm ever just nervous about the day, because sometimes I do just wake up nervous. Just wake up like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen today, and I'm in a nervous wreck as I'm getting ready. I put my AirPods in and I listen to Les Brown, Sarah Jakes Roberts. Yeah, it's so many in the podcast.
I'm gonna start with on podcasts too, so you can.
Yeah, like your first 20 minutes, girl. When you wake up, put something in your ear. Yeah, something positive. Even if you're about to have a bad day, just putting something in your ear to reframe your thinking. That's what helps me. And my therapist, I don't know where I would be without her. I hope I never have to discharge from her because she's awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing. I
Mm-hmm.
actually just called. I have a friend who's a therapist. I didn't know the rules. I didn't know that, like, if you had a personal relationship with someone of that profession, they can't be your therapist. Or if they do, you can't have a personal relationship anymore. Because she beat it around the bush for almost 2 months on being my therapist. And one day I just texted and I was like, why haven't you sent me your rates? she called me. She's like, I can't be your therapist, but she recommended me to someone, and I actually spoke to someone about 2 or 3 days ago who I am going to add to my self-care budget next month. Before the summer's over, I know for sure I'm going to start a self-care budget, and that's funds that I'm going to put towards just making sure I'm mentally sane. We were just talking about it. I'm a wife. I'm a mother of 2 children. I am still working a 9-to-5, so to speak, not really, but it's, with the radio consultant. I say it because it's literally not 9 to 5. It really isn't, but it is a career. I still have to do my job, things of that nature. Plus, I have businesses on the side, so I gotta stay sane to fulfill all these roles that I have. So it's becoming a priority for me. I started experiencing. Well, let me backtrack. And I'm gonna be real brief, because I want to keep the conversation going. But depression led me to Christ, honestly. After we graduated, and it's so funny because you mentioned my path in the beginning of how great I was at Jackson State. What you didn't know is that I was having anxiety attacks in my dorm room. That like I would be on the phone with Chris and I was engaged, so I'd be on the phone with Chris, just like having him to calm me down because I was so stressed out. Like, I don't know if you remember, but I didn't just do Mad Drama. I did a lot of other stuff.
You did everything.
I did everything.
You did everything.
And I had literally just got there. So I came in as a transfer junior and I just hit the road running, like everything. And girl, the day of graduation, what I did after I walked, first of all, it was hot. I don't know if you remember, Lord.
It was past hot.
It was so hot. Oh my God. I'll never forget our graduation. But instead of me celebrating the night of our graduation, Chris, we ended up getting a room because we didn't go home, but we ended up getting a room and I went to sleep. I didn't go to a graduation party. The next day I didn't have one at my hometown. I just slept for like the whole weekend until Sunday evening, and I finally got up and I felt okay. Not even my best, but I felt okay. Because I was just tired. I had no energy. It was a picture that I took that Saturday when I had woke up from one of my naps, where if you look, you'll see how low my eyes was. Like I was just tired. And I'm thankful for everything I did at Jackson State and things of that nature. But if I could go back and do anything over, I would have slowed down. I would have slowed down. I wouldn't have tried to do everything under sun. I mean, I formed an organization there. Like, I did so much. Half of the stuff
you did a lot, Orionna.
But I would have just slowed down. Like, I probably went to 2 of the 100 kickbacks that we had as because I was always doing something, not because I didn't want to come, but I was always doing something. Even when I did come to the kickback, I'll be on my phone, or I'll be thinking about something else. Like, I'll literally put y'all on a time frame. I'm so sorry. Let me apologize. I'm so sorry. But back then, I just didn't. It came from the past. Like, when going to college wasn't just going to college for me. It was a part of getting out. Like, I knew that I seen what I went through when I was younger. I seen the paths that my mom took, my dad took, my grandparents took, and I didn't want to take those paths. So I was a first generation everything. And my goal was to just graduate, to make it, to use this degree to get a good job, to do that. Like, it was all about a stepping stone for me. I wanted to be in this, to get this, to get that. And like I said, if I go back, if I could do anything, I would just slow down. I don't regret it, but it did lead to depression. I realized I was in depression maybe 2 weeks after I graduated. I was real sad. I didn't know my next move. I mean, I graduated valedictorian. I didn't have a next move. It was crazy. And I remember a voice, and now I know that's the Holy Spirit, but a voice told me, you either gonna choose me or you're gonna choose depression. At the time, my Bible used to sit as a decoration. Never opened it, but I always had it real, like, by my nightstand, like it was just there. And when I thought of the voice saying me or depression, me was that Bible. And I picked up the Bible and I haven't put it down. And I've increased my faith and I've grown with God, and it led to where we are today. So I thank God for that, for even letting me experience what depression was, because I don't know if I would have been as committed to God like I am now, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another example of you going through something and God turning it out for his good. And you're right. I want to put this conversation on all the platforms we can put them on so people can hear it. Like, we're in our 20s and we're talking about mental health. I'm so proud of us. Like, our parents weren't talking like this when they were our age. They weren't
at all.
They weren't talking about mental health. They weren't talking about quitting jobs to get your peace right. They weren't talking about that. Like, money don't drive me. Peace do. Money does not drive me. Money is going to come if I'm doing what God has called me to do. But it is not number one. And I feel like the difference between our generation and our parents' generation was they was focused on like the money, and they was, you know, trying to provide, and they were just in survival mode. And I feel like us black people, we're starting to be like, you know what? We ain't gotta struggle like that no more. We're not in those times where we gotta work our butts to the bone or till we're sick and in the hospital to make it. We don't have to do that no more. We're smart, we're talented, we're ambitious. We can make money in our sleep now. Let's do it. You know what I'm saying? Let's do it. I'm surprised if 2 years from now you're doing what you're doing, but you also got something on the side that you got going on where you can make money while you sleep. Like, that's the type of generation we are. Like, it's like more entrepreneur led than anything nowadays, you know?
It is.
So yeah, girl, I'm just super thankful. What I'm gonna make sure I do is make sure I have like links to like the, you know, different call centers and things like that for people when I post it on social media. But is there anything that I didn't pinpoint? Like, we are both so humble because we didn't start naming degrees, we didn't name awards or anything like that. But I do want to highlight that you do have your master's and say congratulations on that. You shared a little bit about your story in your Facebook post, but take me back to that moment when you was creating that Facebook post to let everybody know. I know you were proud of yourself, but I just want to.
Okay, let me go back because you kind of pinpointed, kind of touched on it a little bit while you were talking. When I started my master's degree, I was in a relationship. The relationship was very, very toxic. So I started my master's degree in 2017. What's so funny is my first day in class, and the teacher was introducing. It was intro to clinical mental health counseling, and she was like, "Your life is about to change."
Wow.
And she said, "Relationships are going to change. You may not even be in a relationship with the person that you're with now." She's like, your whole outlook is going to change. She said, you're going to lose some friends, you know? And I'm just like, okay, this is a speech that, you know.
Everybody here.
Lo and behold, this lady was telling the truth. So I'm the type of person that I love really hard. And our relationship ended in 2019. When it ended, that was in 2018. When it ended, that was the beginning of, that was my first time going to therapy because I did not know which way to turn. If you want to look up the definition of depression, you're probably going to see my name. When I tell you I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I was suicidal. And not just because I didn't have this person anymore, I didn't have myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know who I was. I was working a job in the mental health field, my first mental health job. I was a case manager. When I tell you the job was
I'm back. You're back. You can start talking about the job.
The job was so overwhelming. It was so depressing. I was getting paid like $10, $11 an hour, and I had like 100 people on my caseload. Treatment plans. It was just horrible. When I say horrible, it was a horrible time in my life. And I just felt like I had nobody. I felt like I was failing. And then another thing that kind of gets us is social media. Seeing your peers excel, seeing the people I went to Jackson State with making $100K, and I'm back making.
And I still like that, girl. Girls, kudos. I'm still not there, but I'm gonna get there.
Yeah, like that can lead you into depression, and that can lead you into feeling less about yourself, you know. But now I know that it's all God's timing. But I was just in a bad place. during my tenure in my master's degree. One day my supervisor came to me and she just said a lot on my desk. And she was like, you got to have this done in 3 days. And I was like, there's no way I was going to get it done. But me being me, I'm like, I'm not a quitter. I was trying so hard until I came back into the office one day and I had a whole panic attack on the floor. My coworker was there. And she was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I could not catch my breath. If you ever had a panic attack, then anxiety attack, then you know, like you get physical symptoms. You know, you just all. Yeah, like I couldn't. My joints locked up. Your joints lock up. You have labor breathing, and I was just like, when I finally calmed down, and I had a massive headache. I was like, you know what, this is not worth it. I was like, the main reason for me getting a job is because I had to complete an internship, and I said I'm gonna stay here until I complete my internship, and I'm gonna leave. I could not make it. I could not. And I put my notice in effective immediately. I said, thank you for your opportunity, but I gotta go before I blow my brains out. Dealing with the breakup and the stresses of the job, I was just out of it. I couldn't sleep. I was up till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Then had to be at work at 8. So I quit my job, and unfortunately, I had to move back home to my hometown, Itta Bena. I did not like Itta Bena, but let me tell you this. God used me in Itta Bena. People don't know, but I dance. I posted a lot of dances, praise dance, that I've done in the year that I was at home. When I tell you, I feel like I inspired so many young ladies that was under me because they actually told me, you know. And I try not to celebrate myself a lot. I gotta stop that because I should celebrate myself, but they helped me. And I felt like I was supposed to be helping them, but they helped me. They helped me see that there is a gift inside of me. And it wasn't just dance. I mean, I had to talk to them about, y'all don't know the conversation that I had to have with those little girls. But God used me while I was in Itta Bena. And as I was reflecting, I was like, I didn't want to move back home. But God had something for me to do at home. He had some people for me to reach. He had some friends for me to reach. You know, I had to let go of some people. I've been friends with 2 people with this group. It was 3 of us, but 7th grade. When I said if you've lost a friend, then you know that's hard. I felt like, what did I do to just lose everybody? It's like I lost everybody at one time. And I'm like, God, what is going on? Is it me? You know, I'm starting to blame myself. I'm starting to examine myself. And I remember my mama always told me, you're not going to have those same people. You know, you're going to grow up. God is going to move people out of your life. And I'm like, nah, these my girls, you know, ride or die. They ain't going nowhere. But when I tell you I lost everybody and I was just forced to sit by myself. It's like I was forced to just be me. It's me and God. And I had to seek him. I had to pray every day just to make it, just to even, y'all, I was so scared to go to sleep because I was scared to go to bed because when I lay down, it's like everything just, it was like, imagine sitting in a restaurant and everybody just talking to you. Like that's how it was when I laid down. And so I would work myself, or I would be out all day until I just tire myself out, you know, so I wouldn't have to hear what my mind was going to tell me. It was such a terrible time, y'all. I don't even know how to explain it. But when God stepped in, and I had to realize that, look, if your mind ain't right, you can't help nobody. You got to get your mind right. And he helped me. He came in. He helped me. He came in. He changed my thinking. You know, he helped me to have a better day daily. When I tell you, it was like it wasn't overnight. But when I tell you, my anxiety stopped week by week. I was monitoring the progress, of course, because of therapy. But like week by week, I just saw everything get better, and I noticed my journals. my journals was 3 pages. Then they started to get 2 pages. Then they started to get 1 page because I didn't have that much to even ramble in my mind about. And when the pandemic, I had to find an internship, y'all. It was like the week before school started. I did not have an internship. I said, I'm not gonna graduate. I was crying. I called my mom. I said, Mama, nobody is taking interns due to the pandemic. I said, nobody is allowing people to come in their office. I said, I don't know how I can do this virtually without any licenses, but nobody's coming. I said, Lord, I'm not gonna graduate until 2022. And I said, Lord, if it's meant for me to graduate now, then I know you're gonna work it out. It was a Thursday. School started that Monday. Somebody from Jackson State called me and said, hey, I got you an internship position at the LaTosha Norman Center. Y'all, when I say y'all was knocked off my feet, I was like, it's virtual? And you can't get it any better than that.
Yeah.
You know, it's virtual. You don't have to go anywhere every day. I still can, because at the time when I moved home, I started working with my mom. I said, I don't have to abandon my mom, you know, and I could do my internship virtually. I was just blown away. And that was my big, yeah, right. Look at the LaTosha Norman Center. I was like, this is an amazing opportunity. And it just made me realize that no matter what, if you keep your faith in God, you know, because I could have given up. I could have said, well, I'll just wait. But no, I kept praying and I just kept believing that he was going to work it out. And so I did the internship. Things in Itta Bena did not go the way, like I said, I lost my friends. My friends were from Itta Bena. So I felt like I was alone. And things were not going how I wanted them to be in Itta Bena. So I said, you know what? I got to go. I said, like in August, I said, I'm not going to be here in December.
Yeah.
I said, I don't care what go on, I'm not going to be here. I started applying, I say October. I was getting calls, I was getting interviews, but I was never getting called back. And interview after interview, no call. Application after application. And I was like, well, I said, maybe it's just meant for me to be here another year. I said, I've done 1 year. Let's just see how it's going to go. I think my virtual graduation was December 11th. On December 10th, y'all, I got a call. And I was like, this is amazing. Because people talk about manifestation to the universe. But if that's what you want to do that. But me, I'm gonna manifest with God and with God's word, because manifestation is real, but it means nothing if God is not involved. You know, nobody. I can't explain no other way other than that was God, because I kept saying, God, I kept saying, God, I want to move. I want to get out. I want to be in my field. Did not want to be 2 years doing something else totally unrelated, you know, to what I went to school for. I worked too hard. I did 3 years, 2 semesters of internship, a practical. Like, you got to help me out here. Yeah. And that's the authority that I feel like that we have to take. You know, he's giving us that authority. So it's okay to be like, God, you got to help me through this, because you're the only person that can help me. And I said, if this is your will, then you're going to let me have it, you know. And the day before graduation, I got it. And ever since, I've been so happy. I was blessed with an apartment, affordable. I was blessed with a new car. And everything just has been falling in place. I'm not where I want to be, but I am in such a better place. And when I hear my clients say, thank you so much, or you're so, you know, that's all that I need. Yeah. That's all that I need to keep me going. Yeah. It's just so amazing what happened once you just take your hand off your own life. Not you know, but just let God do it for you.
Yeah, it's not
something. You'll be so
God. Let God.
Yeah, let God do it for you, because you'll be in such a better place. And I just thank him for what he did, because especially getting me out of that depressive mode when I was thinking about killing myself, and I was thinking about I could be driving and I had to stop in the middle of the road because something would be telling me to just go ahead and run off. And it's such a bad feeling to want to end your own life.
Yeah.
And it's nothing to play around with. I know people play around it and people say it just for no reason or just to be manipulative and stuff like that. But that's a real bad feeling to want to give up on yourself. And I never ever want to go back to that place. I'm so thankful that, you know, I'm where I am to help other people get out. And it's been a journey. I thank God I am where I am right now. You just gotta have that faith that God's gonna do it. And no matter what come against you, you gotta have that faith. I'm talking about unwavering faith. I don't care what other people believe in. Can't nobody tell me. Now you believe what you believe in. You manifest. You do whatever you want to the universe. The universe never done nothing for me. Yeah. I believe that God is you know, the author and the finisher, and He has done more than enough. And I feel like I'm preaching, so I'm gonna go ahead and start.
Even with everything that I had going on, because I was joking about what you don't see, I wasn't about to stop you because I knew that was the Holy Spirit moving. You know, I knew that was the Holy Spirit moving through you. And what excites me, Nique, is, again, we're only in our 20s and we talk about God like this. We talk about our future like this. We talk about manifestation. We talk about having wisdom. I get so excited for how we're going to be at 30 and at 40 and at 50 because we're like this now. So if we got faith like this now and we're moving like God telling us to move now, we gonna change the world. Like
literally.
You mentioned earlier that, you know, you wish you could do more. Girl, you're doing just enough. Like God is gonna continue to expand your platform. He's gonna continue to give you more things to do. He's gonna continue to elevate you. But as long as you stay obedient to what you're doing right now in this season, you're gonna be fine. I know it. Like I felt it. You had nobody could tell me different because I felt it. I felt the passion and the pain and the struggle through your voice. And I pray that someone else could hear it or see it because this will be visual as well. But girl, I'm just so proud. I'm just so proud. Like we could talk all day about what you've done and what you're gonna do, but I feel like the story that you just shared is a great starting point. You know, I feel like it's just enough. You've said so much that people can take and just apply to their lives, and no matter what their age is. You know, I feel like another thing we're doing right now is letting people know you don't have to be a certain age to love God. I went through that in college. I knew God before I rededicated my life to Christ after graduating.
You sure did. You sure did.
I knew him, but girl, it's crazy because you saying it like you know for sure I knew him, but it's crazy because my faith wasn't the same though. Like it was like, yeah, I talked about God. Like even my line sisters with AKA I would be the one that pray, or me and my other line sister that she talked about God a lot too, but I didn't really just get a relationship. Like, perfect example. You can know somebody. You can know of somebody, but not know them. I knew of God in college, but I got to know him after I graduated. And that just changed the game for me. So I said that to say that in college, I had those moments where I was like, okay, I can't talk about God too much because that's kind of uncool. You can't be doing all that. That's lame. I had a lit reputation. Like I was like, maybe every now and then put his name in there, take it out. But God convicted me of that after I graduated. He said, don't ever be afraid to mention my name. Don't ever be afraid to say you want to pray. You want to do this. Or you don't want to do this or that, because I am your God forever and always. And I want to encourage anybody. I feel led to say this to someone listening that may be our age or may be in college right now who's a little bit younger. Don't be afraid to say God is God and to put him in your life. You don't have to do everything everybody else is doing in college, because college is a lot of temptation too. I went through a lot of identity phases in college, and it's crazy. There's so much stuff you didn't see because you only saw me at Rosie McCoy. You know what I'm saying? Or walking around Plaza, but it was so many moments that a lot of people didn't see that I was going through, and I was really good at putting on a mask. I was really good at making it seem like everybody's okay. If you ask my classmate how I was, they're gonna say something similar to what you said, but they wouldn't know the other stuff.
Right.
And I'm not afraid to
Mhm.
share it because that's my truth and that's what I've been through. But I don't want anybody to do what I did and just put a mask on. Don't just put a face on. Be you all the time and live your truth. Don't be secretly having panic attacks in your dorm room, crying and
Mhm.
wiping your tears and getting on the shuttle to come to the campus. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause that's exactly
Mhm.
what I was doing. Girl, it was
Mhm.
crazy. And I didn't
Mhm.
tell nobody. Like you're one of the first college friends that I'm actually revealing this to, because I haven't even told people. Of course, Chris knew, but nobody from Jackson State even know I was going through that. It's easy, and that's another thing. Like when you were talking about your sister, we don't know the signs. Y'all wouldn't have known
Mhm.
mine either. You wouldn't have known
And
it.
it's so
I'm
crazy.
good at disguising it.
It's so crazy that you say that because I remember you being I didn't even have the mental health background that I had, but I remember you being kind of anxious. I just remember that. And I remember you would get so frustrated when you were trying to, say what you needed to say. And people would kind of laugh, but I was never one of the ones to make fun of people.
Yeah.
People would kind of laugh and I'm like, she's passionate. She's only feeling this way because she's passionate and she probably can't explain it the way that, she wanted to, and people not taking it. And I noticed that you were always one of the ones that were different. You were always one of the ones who if you meant what you said, what you said something, you mean it. Nobody could change your mind. And I really appreciate that you were that way, even though that you were struggling with what you were struggling with. You still was you. Nobody could tell me that Orionna was about to go out here and
Do something
kill
crazy.
somebody or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like do something, because I knew, even though we weren't the closest ones, we weren't hanging out every day, but I just knew that it was something about you that stood out from everybody. I mean, it was you and a couple of ones, but you were so passionate. And I can appreciate that passion. And that's my only word to describe you, Orionna, is passionate, because because you was just like, you knew what you wanted. And I knew that you were having some type of struggles. And I thought that you were shy.
Yeah.
I thought that you were a shy person, but I knew that you it's just the way that you express yourself.
Yeah.
I don't, and I was like, dang, she is so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And people would be like, oh, Orionna is sensitive. I'm like, no, she's not sensitive.
Mhm.
She just wanted, because we had our spats. We had our spats, girl.
Let me see.
But not me and you personally, but us
Yeah.
as a group. We had our spats, but you were just so adamant about what you wanted, and what you were gonna do. And I just want to encourage you, to keep going. Like, I see your lives at 7:00 in the morning when I'm getting ready. I may not always come in or something, but I'm listening. And it's such an inspiration to you, to be young and to be unapologetic about being a Christian. It's so good to see that, because like you said, in college, people ain't thinking about that, and people not worried about going to church and stuff like that. But you really inspire me, and you inspire others too. You may not get all of the likes and all of the, but that doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
I don't know how many people tune in. I know the few seconds that I'm on. But that doesn't matter. You doing what you need to do, and you killing it, girl. God is so proud of you, and I'm so godly proud of you, girl.
Yes.
Like, I know you brought me on, but girl, I had to tell you, because you do inspire me. And when you ask for the prayer request, I'm like, this girl is praying for people. Like, she's out here.
Girl, let me tell you, prayer is that one thing that the enemy can't intercede with. And I feel like people forget that, like, he can't mess with you while you on your knees praying. While you talking to God, the enemy can't do nothing. He can try to do some stuff around you, but when you get guarded in prayer, girl, he just gotta wait. He gotta wait until you say amen to attack you again. And God is giving you so much power, so much strength, so much abilities to do something through that prayer, that when you do get up, he ain't gonna come that quick, because you just finished talking to your daddy, so he know you good right now. He know you on full. And I just get so passionate about it, but it came from the low moments, but I thank God for it. And I admire your admiration, Nique. I really do, because I'm proud of all of us. Like, I know I don't follow everybody, but I feel like it's funny because we used to joke about Facebook. I don't know if you was a part of this, but I remember it was some people in college. We used to joke about Facebook, and we used to joke like, man, Facebook for old people. I ain't gonna be on Facebook. You know, I do Instagram. You know, I don't put all my
I remember that era.
on Facebook. Girl, I'll be up on Facebook keeping up with everybody. Girl,
Yeah, that's the only way.
I saw you talk about your degree, like. And I'm thankful now for Facebook, because now I can say, even if I haven't talked to y'all in a year, I know how you doing from what you post.
Yeah, I really
talk about it up and down, and now we the main ones on Facebook checking on each other.
All the time, girl.
All the time, girl. Girl, it was one thing that you had made a post about back during the pandemic. I don't even know if you remember this, but you was talking about the convenience store. And you was talking about how you had to, and I'm not, please y'all, people, for those of y'all listening, we about to wrap up the show. I'm just telling y'all a little funny story before we end. But for those of y'all listening, do not do what Nique did. But I'm just gonna share it because it was so funny. She said that the person at the convenience store quit. So the person quit.
They were doing the snowstorm.
Oh yeah, the snowstorm. Okay, the snowstorm. The person quit, and you needed your stuff. So you had worked at a convenience store before, so you knew what to do. You knew how to work the register. So you went behind the counter and worked the register, and you did it for your stuff. But everybody else was like, "I need stuff too." So you basically ended up working for free for like a good minute before somebody came.
A good factor.
Girl, that was the best laugh I had in a long time on social media. Girl, I laughed so hard. Like, I laughed so hard. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe my sister went behind. She had to serve herself. She said she needed what she needed. Like,
I didn't want to steal. I did not want to steal.
Like, God,
my friends was like, "You so good. You so." They always call me the good person. They was like, "You so good. You wanted to check out." I was like, "Yes." I did not want to steal at all, and I didn't want other people to steal.
God used you even in that moment, like, because think about if you would have stole, everybody else would have done it. But since you got behind the register and was like, no, let's put our money in this cashier, let's get our gas and put it in, you know, do whatever you do that.
Right.
That started a domino effect that everybody else they were obedient. They stayed in line, and you checked everybody out accordingly. Girl, even though it was funny, God still used you even in that moment, you know, because you, like I said, you could have went left or right, and you decided to go the way God wanted you to go. Girl,
yes, ma'am.
The funniest story. Every time I do an episode now, I think I started this on season 2, and it's so funny that I don't even realize I'm going to go to a new season until I get on a show with the guests, or I'm preparing, and God will be like, all right, it's time. So literally, as I was preparing for this with you today, he told me that this is time for season 3. So I started off with the question of, you know, what is a non-wimpy Christian to you? And I want to end with the question, what are you doing? We discussed your journey and things of that nature. So let's end it with, what are you doing as a non-wimpy Christian to bring other people to Christ?
My mama always told me, let the life you live speak for you. So if you're just living, people will notice that.
Yeah.
People will see that.
Yeah.
If you know, even during your times where you may fall, or where you may, you know, sin and you have to get back, people need to see that. Yeah. I know everybody wants to be the perfect Christian, but people need to see that it's okay for you to fall and get back up again. Yes, in the words of, I love Donnie McKirkland. You know, it's all it says is we fall down, but we get up. Yes. But when he says a saint is just a sinner who fell down and got back up, like, that's all you got to do. And that's I don't have a ministry per se. You know, I'm kind of shy with, you know, the way you do things, but it's just the way that you live. And I think me being transparent on social media, showing my struggles and my high moments.
Yeah.
That's what people need. People need to see that God can use even the lowest person. God can use anybody, And so sharing with people, living the life that I live, and always encouraging somebody. I don't care if I have a million things going on. You like, I don't know, you'll never believe that I have strangers, people that I've never spoken to, and they just inbox me or, call me or get my number from somewhere like, hey, I need this and I seen you do this. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I don't even know you. Yeah, so like just living that life and standing for something, even if nobody's standing with you. I think that's a good quality that I have, because I don't care what other people doing. I'm gonna do what I know to do, So doing that, staying in my word. I'm on this challenge to read the Bible the whole Bible in 365. Y'all people, we should try that. Because it's the YouVersion app,
Yeah,
you can add friends on there.
I start my day off with the YouVersion app.
Yeah, that you can read the Bible in a year, and you and your friends can comment and kind of have like a conversation about it. So getting in that word actually helps me to help other people too. But like just living the life that I live and showing people that it's okay to fall, because I haven't always been perfect. I've done some shameful things, and I'm still not perfect. I'm still your walk with Christ. It's something that you do every day. It's not just one decision and boom, you a good Christian. You got to make your decision every day that I'm gonna do this walk. Yeah, so doing those things and being transparent and being open and always accepting people, accepting those phone calls. But sometimes you got to say no.
Yeah.
As a mental health professional, I got to tell you to say
learning how to say no, learning how to let go. There's letting go of friends and things of that nature. It's all a part of it. I tell people the relationship with Christ is active. If you don't have an active relationship with Christ where you're going through something, like if you're the same person you was when you first gave your life to Christ 2 years later, or even a year, or even 6 months later, something not right. You should be evolving all the time. Your life should look different. Things you do, people who are around you, everything should be different, changing, adding and subtracting in your life. That's how you know God is. But if it's the same way, somebody ain't do something, and it was you, because God did his part. You just wasn't obedient to do your part. So through this platform, I want to get Christians on here that are continuing to do. And I know months from now, years from now, it's going to be something that you've done where I'm be like, I got to bring her back on the show. I got to bring her back on the show. She got to add this part of her life. She got to talk about this, because God is taking us to yet another level. And girl, like you said, we're going to continue to elevate. We're going to continue to grow. So Nique, I'm just so proud. As I've said it, I'm so proud of you. I don't want you to give up. I'm so thankful that you took time out to speak with me today. I started this maybe like in my 5th episode of doing Don't Be a Wimpy Christian, where I felt led to pray before I end the episode. And I want to do the same thing to you, and then you can go on about your beautiful day.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
All right. Father God, we come to you right now, first and foremost, saying thank you. Thank you for this time. Thank you for reconnecting me with my singing sister, Nique, Lord. I appreciate the admiration she's had over our experience at Jackson State, the memories that we've had, Lord. Thank you for me not only getting her professional journey and learning tips about that, but also learning about her personal journey and how she's really grown closer to you than ever before, Lord. Lord, I pray that we can continue to be advocates for you, that we can continue to be Christ representatives, Lord, that we can continue to be modern day disciples, Lord, and we continue to walk down this path of righteousness, Lord. I know that it always won't be easy. I know that it always won't be popular, Lord, but help us to fight, Lord. Fight for the word, fight for you, fight for the good, Lord. Fight for the betterment of everyone coming to that gate one day, Lord, and you saying, well done, my child, Lord. When I want to slip back and when I want to fall, when I do fall, as Nique has mentioned, we're going to fall, we're going to sin, we're going to fall short. Lord, help us to get back up. Help us to not grow weary and faint, Lord. Help us to keep going. Give us the strength we need on days that we think that we don't have anything to give the world, Lord. And Lord, I cast off all the depression and the anxiety and the panic attacks that's going to try to attack us, Lord, the things that the enemy is going to try to put in our way. We've already won. Even if we experience those things, we've already won, Lord. I speak to those listening that may be going through some mental issues right now, Lord. They may be going through some things where they don't know where their life is going to go, Lord. It may be some people that went to college like us and they're looking at their friends' Facebook. They're looking on Instagram and their friends look like they're so successful. And they are at a pitfall, or they're at a crossroads. They don't know what they want to do, Lord. I pray that this is the perfect time that they choose you over the world. They choose to grow with you, Lord. Just like I did in that moment. I chose you over depression, Lord. I pray someone listening chooses you over it as well, Lord. I pray that they use this as a moment to open your word and to seek you, Lord. I pray they use this as a moment, like Nique said, to journal. Put all your thoughts out on the journal. And Lord, just let you take control, Lord. I pray above all, Lord, as well as putting you in control, that the second thing we do for self-care is seek therapy. Seek these professionals that are out here in this mental health field. If we feel like we're feeling off, that we don't just listen to the world of saying that you're okay, just go lay down, or you're okay, just pray. No, that we put faith behind our works, Lord, and we seek the help that you created. You bless these people to have these degrees, to have this education, to be in this field, Lord. So I pray we seek them, Lord. We don't worry about if we don't have the finance. We don't worry about our situation. We don't worry about our environment, but we take the first step and know that you're going to provide, Lord. I want to thank you for knowing that you're going to provide and for you already doing so much already, Lord. I thank you for the power of the tongue. I thank you for manifestation, Lord. I thank you that you can give us the desires of our heart, Lord, and they'd be greater than what we thought the world could ever give us, Lord. I pray that whoever's listening to this today chooses you over the world and know that it's the best decision that they could ever make. It won't be easy. It won't be easy. It will be difficult. It will be a journey, Lord. But like I said, it will be worth it, Lord. So I just thank you again for my singing sister Nique here, Lord, my sister in Christ, Lord. I thank you for her story. I thank you for giving us this platform to share, Lord. And I just pray that we continue to give it all to you because you're in control and that our future is greater than our biggest imaginations, because we're putting you first. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. So that was Nique, a beautiful woman of Christ, my singing sister, my sister in Christ. I pray y'all enjoyed that episode, and I will see y'all on the next one of Don't Be a Wimpy Christian. Y'all stay blessed. I love y'all.